Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday, and welcome to this educational presentation, where today I want to talk to you about how you can immediately improve your entries. From time to time, we get testimonials from our current students or prospective students where that they really love what they're trading or they don't mind their current strategy. It's just that their entries are faulty. Oftentimes, they'll get in too early, maybe get in too late. Or many times, how many times has this happened to you personally? You buy something, and the minute you buy it, it goes straight down, and the minute you sell something, it goes straight up. Well, today I'm going to share with you a fantastic, in my opinion, a really great technique for improving your entries. I use this personally myself. It can be applied to any market and any time frame. Let's take a quick example of what we mean here by looking at this older chart of FCX. All right, let's say you were interested in buying this. All right, you see this kind of a resistance or breakout area right here. You figure to yourself, well, once it breaks away, I'll buy it. Okay, that's what that guy in that chat room says, or the guy on TV. So wait for it to break out. Now, eventually it does, but let's say for some chance you missed it. You didn't get it at all, and you say to yourself, wow, did I miss this? But it looks as if it's breaking down. Maybe those same people that you listen to say it's breaking down, and wait for the pullback, or it should come all the way down to this area again. So that's where your entry is going to be. You put in a limit order to buy right there. And so you wait. And this is what happens with most traders. You'll wait for something to buy or wait for something to sell, but your entry is faulty. With this technique I'm going to be sharing with you today, you would not have had to wait. Just with this one bar that sold off, you would have actually bought at the close of that bar and potentially captured 16 points. So see, if you would have put your entry down here, you would have missed the trade once again entirely, and you would have said, what's wrong with my entries? So this is what we're going to be talking about today. The good news is that these entries are automatically scanned for you, and you can see exactly where they are only on the PTS Primo charting platform. This is the educational platform that actually teaches you how to improve your entries. So this promises to be a great educational presentation. Welcome once again. My name is Steven Primo. I am the president and founder of Specialist Trading. If you're new to my presentations, we are all about educating you. We are a little bit different from other webinars in that our sole focus is simply to educate you as a trader. The reason is because we feel the reason why most traders fail is because you're taking yourself out of the game. And many of you do this because you feel you don't have enough experience, you don't have enough education, you don't even have enough capital. Well, really what it is when you take yourself out of the game, you're allowing someone or something else to make your trading decisions for you. Now, it doesn't mean that someone is sitting next to you actually pulling the trigger, but if you go to a blog and listen to what someone is buying or selling, or if you go to a chat room or a trading room and listen to what they're buying or selling and try to mimic them, or some guy on TV, even if you wait for earnings to come out or jobless claims to come out, you're allowing those outside forces to determine whether you should be buying or selling. I know this from firsthand experience because when I first started trading 47 years ago, that's the way I was taught. That's the way you're supposed to make your decisions. Right? Wait for the earnings to come out. Wait for the news to come out. Listen to that so-called trading guru and find out what he likes or doesn't like, and I'll make my decisions based off him. Whatever your decision is, it's based on someone or something else, and you're taking yourself out of the game. The service we provide is we provide you with information, tools, techniques, strategies that have stood the test of time, that have high levels of consistency, so that ultimately we educate you so that you can make your own trading decision. In my 47 years of trading, the only traders I know who are still around, who are still trading to this day, are the ones that make their own trading decisions. They don't wait for news events to come out. They don't listen to anyone on TV after the market is closed or go to a trading room. They don't read any blogs. They have a plan in place that's based off consistency, and they simply follow it. So this is my goal, to get you to that point. This is the way I trade. I stopped looking at news and events and listening to other people some 4 decades ago. And that's what I feel has sustained me. And hopefully I'll be able to do that with you as my students. Now, before we begin, we are required to share this with you. So please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results today using this technique, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. And since we are first and foremost an educational company, all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. Now, also, if you'd like some more education on a daily basis, please feel free to follow us on Twitter or X, Pick your title, whatever you prefer to call it. There's our handle right there, abbreviation for specialist trading. You may want to copy that down, write it down, and join us on Twitter, because every day I post anywhere from 5 or 6 different snapshots of signals our methods have generated to little bits of financial wisdom. So there's lots of great free information and education on a daily basis. So please feel free to follow us on Twitter. Now remember, as I stated, we are different from other websites in that our only focus is on educating you. We're not going to sit here and tell you the way some other webinars do, well, this is what I think the market's going to do, or this is what I think this stock's going to do, or this is the perfect time frame. As we tell and teach all of our students, those are things you have to decide. I have taught the same method to hundreds, if not thousands of students, and each one has come back to me saying, Steve, I love this. It works the best on a 15-minute chart of the British pound. Or someone else would say, Steve, this is great. I love to use it on daily charts of crypto. And someone else would say, Steve, this is great for my investing. I use it on weekly charts of Apple. All right. Now, it doesn't mean that each one is wrong. It means that you have to find what works best for you, because that's the way trading should be. No two traders should ever trade alike. That's why we don't have chat rooms or trading rooms of specialist trading, because that would be something that would get in the way of your education. You have to decide what feels best for you. And the reason is because everyone comes in with different risk parameters. Everyone comes in with different baggage about, well, I don't want that much to carry that big of a position, or I don't like to trade that many times a week. Or someone else could say, I like to trade 20 times a day. So everyone's different. That's why no two traders should ever trade alike. There's no one standard way to trade a method. That's the service we provide. As an educator, my goal is simply to teach you how to trade, to provide you with all these different variables so that you can make your own decisions. And that's how you become a specialist edge trader, right? This is the same way I was taught some 4 decades ago, what has sustained me, and hopefully it will be doing the same for you. All right. Now, a couple of announcements. As I'm sure some people who have attended my presentations know, I like to take questions, but I like to take them at the end. So if you do have a question, please write it down or remember it. I promise I will answer all your questions at the end of today's class, okay? Also, this is being recorded. So if you happen to miss something, if you have to leave early, or if you're having technical issues, don't worry. Each and every one of you will be sent a link to this recording, all right? Okay, with that stated, let's begin today's educational presentation. And what we're going to be talking about today is a great tool, probably one of our most popular as well as powerful trading tools we have at Specialist Trading. That's the PTS XT, or the Extreme Trend Indicator. This tool is designed only to find any market, any time frame, when it's in an extreme trend. And those are the trends you really want to take advantage of, right? When something is moving extremely to the upside or extremely to the downside. So let's show you how this trading process works, okay? We're going to go over this entry technique. Now, firstly, we're looking back at that older chart. Remember FCX. Now, before we said, hey, when it breaks this area right here, we're going to buy, and then we missed it. And we said, wow, we missed it. You know, I went on vacation, or I got busy doing something else, looking at another market. So that guy in that chat room says, buy down here. This is where it'll come down. It will come down. So I put a limit in there. I'm all excited. I'm going to buy it. But this is not the way to trade. Remember, first of all, you're basing your decision off someone or something else. Let's see how simple it is to apply with the PTS-XT. Now, on our platform, what you want to do is plot the PTS-XT Extreme Trend Indicator first. And how you do that is to simply click it on here on our green strategy tab with all of our other methods and techniques. Find the PTS-XT Extreme Trend tab. And in the drop-down menu, what you want to do is click on Highlight Signal. What this will do will paint a block, a color block around the bars that are either in an extreme uptrend or an extreme downtrend. So once you click that on, you see now that this is a yellow buy block. What this is saying is that all of these bars are in an extreme uptrend. So even though you think that it may come down here, when you are in an extreme trend, price very rarely goes against that trend for that long of a time or that far of a distance. So this is a fairly large distance coming all the way back down to the bottom. Most likely it's not going to get there. And if it does get there, it'll probably exit the yellow buy block. So what you want to do is take advantage of these bars while they are in the yellow buy block. So here's the entry technique I'm going to be sharing with you today. In the yellow buy block, buy the bar whose close is less than the previous bar's low. And you notice I underlined this. Buy the bar whose close is less than the previous bar's low. Not the previous bar's close, but whose close is less than the previous bar's low. All right? So let's see here. We're looking at all the lows here, and there's not a bar that closes below the low until we get up to this bar right here. Now, here's the low of this bar right there. And look at this bar. We closed right here. Here's the closed below the low of the previous bar. So the close is below the previous bar's low. So what is this telling us? This is telling us that this is a high probability buy setup. Okay, this is a great entry point. Now remember, this is not some guy in a chat room telling you this because he thinks some news is going to come out about interest rates. This is not some guy on TV telling you, oh, he's got some convoluted indicator. This is based off market behavior. All right. None of this is based off news or events. It's based off what the market is telling us. The PTSXT is based off multiple indicators and how they determine what the market is doing. So we're not listening to some convoluted indicator or what someone's analysis is of the economy. This is based on the chart in front of you. So there's where you would have bought. You would have not waited for it to come down to these levels. And look what happened. You could have taken advantage of the 16 points that happened in the following days there or months. Okay? That's how simple this entry technique is. Now, this can also happen for selling. If you'd like to either go short and buy some puts or maybe sell short the market, or you can use this as an exit tool too as well. Let's say you're long the market and you want to know when to get out. All right, here's an example in the spiders. Here's an older example. That's the ETF that represents the S&P 500 index, okay? Let's say you follow some guy on TV and he says there is major support here. We've been coming down for a while. This is some Fibonacci support or some support based off the full moon, whatever you want to call it. But this is where you got to buy the market. All right. And you say to yourself, well, he may be right. And then it actually does start to bounce for the next 3 days or so. So you say to yourself, wow, I've got to buy this. It looks like that was major support. So you jump in with your entry to buy, right? All right. What does the market tell us instead? Well, what we want to do first and find out what the market behavior is to plot the PTSXT extreme trend indicator. So once again, on our platform, click it on, and in the drop-down menu, click on highlighted signal. Now, what we have here is the red sell block. So this is telling us, not like before where we had an extreme uptrend with yellow block coloring around the bars, we now have a red block around the bars. That is telling us that we are in an extreme downtrend. As long as the bars are in there, regardless of what direction they're going, the market is telling us we are in an extreme downtrend, and you have a better opportunity to sell with higher levels of consistency as opposed to buying. This is a selling opportunity, not a buying opportunity. So I don't care what some guy says on TV that this is major support. I'm looking to sell. So how can we do that? Well, once again, we use this technique. We just reverse it now. In the red sell block, what we want to do is sell the bar whose close is higher than the previous bar's high. Okay? So let's see what that means here. We're looking for the close, or I should say, let me go back here. Yeah. Sell the bar close, which is greater than the previous bar's high. All right. That's a much better way to say it. Okay. So here's the bar, and we see the high right there. Here's the next bar that closes above the high of the previous bar. So the close is above the previous bar's high. So this is telling us through market behavior that we should be selling. Why? First of all, we are in a red sell block. Therefore, the momentum is extremely to the downside. And then we have this 2-bar pattern here. This close is above and greater than the previous bar's high. So had you sold there, remember this is the SPY, the spiders, based on the S&P 500 index. Guess what? In the next month, you could have potentially captured or at least saved yourself if you were long 90 points. Now that transferred over onto nearly 9,000 Dow points, 8,500 Dow Jones points. So you could have used this as a market directional tool to tell you what you think the market's going to do. And if you were long, well, and you missed that first setup, don't worry. You could have taken advantage of this one here and then another one, because there are setups being generated all along the way, as long as you see that 2-bar pattern. Okay, so now we understand the process. Let's look at some recent PTSXT entry setups, going long and short. All right, most of these happened within the last month. And remember, everything you're seeing today is displayed by using the PTS Primo charting platform. This is the educational platform I developed with Pro Trader Strategies that identifies these extreme trends in advance with the PTSXT. Okay, let's look at ADSK. All right, this stock has obviously been going up. This was just about a month ago. But then you see here that the last couple of days, it hits this level and then closes lower, all right? Hits this level, closes lower. So you may say to yourself, that's major resistance, okay? I took that $10,000 class on support and resistance, and that's major resistance. So there's probably the big banks selling. I should be a seller too. I want to get out of this. That should probably be what I do here, all right? So I'll put it in order, an entry order to go short, or maybe even to exit my long position. This is why most traders fail, because look at what I was basing my decision off of to enter, based off faulty information. Remember, all you have to do is base it off what the market's telling you. And the best way to do that is to apply the PTSXT. Click it on our platform, click on highlighted signal, and are we in a yellow buy block? Yes, we are. So therefore, there's no reason why we should be selling. We should be looking at this as a buying opportunity. Now, we want to see a bar close below the previous bar's low. We see here a low right here, and we close just below it. So that's a buy setup. This is not any type of resistance we're hitting. This is a buying opportunity. Now, had you bought this coming into February, you could have potentially captured 25 points. See, this is why traders lose and fail. And this is my goal, to educate traders, to get you to become consistent. Once you learn how to process these things, you can become a consistent trader and make your own decisions. You won't have to come here and subscribe and find out what I'm doing through a blog or through a trading room. You'll be able to do this on your own and make your own trading decisions. Remember, in my 47 years of trading, that's how you become a consistent trader. Not by blindly following someone on TV or in a trading room, but by making your own decisions. So that's our goal. All right, now let's say you had missed this one. Well, guess what? There's another one right here. And then even another one right here before you could have potentially captured 20 or 25 points. All right, let's look at team, right? Once again, this is how most traders trade. They say, well, gosh, we got right here to this major support. That guy on TV says there's major support here and it's starting to go up. So I think I should put an entry into buy here, all right? Well, let's see what the PTSXT says. Click on highlighted signal, and it's got a red sell block around all of these bars. That's telling us that not only is it in a downtrend, it's in an extreme downtrend. And this is an opportunity to sell, not to buy. So we look at the highs here of all these bars, and we want to see a bar close above the high. Well, here's a high right here, and we closed above it. So that is a selling opportunity. Just when you thought it was starting to go off based off that support, you're saying, no, the market's telling me it wants to go lower. You may be listening to what some bank is saying or what some guy on TV is saying, but the market, the only thing I listen to, is telling me it wants to go lower, and it dropped 20 points in the next week or two. And once again, if you happen to miss that setup, there was another one just a few days later which could have got you back in. Here's an example in Microsoft. Now, most traders looking at this would say, Steve, this is textbook reversal pattern. Look, we're making new highs, we're going straight up, and then all of a sudden we make a higher high, and then we close near the lows. That is a classic reversal, okay? Once again, when traders use worn out conventional wisdom, this is why you fail. I'm saying it from firsthand experience. I'm not trying to be condescending. This is the way I was taught, and this is why my first year or so, I couldn't make any money, because I was using the same things. Well, here it is 47 years later, and I'm meeting you students who are using the same things that lost me money 47 years ago. And I'm trying to teach them to apply the things that are based off market behavior. not based off things that are conventional wisdom that really doesn't work or doesn't show a lot of consistency. What is the PTSXT saying? Well, we simply have to click it on, and we see that we've been in a yellow buy block this entire time, and we remain in a yellow buy block. Now, if this bar went down, but wasn't in a buy block, in other words, it was like this bar right here with just a regular background, well, then I would say, well, you're right. Maybe it is in a reversal pattern, but it's still in the yellow buy block. So that's still telling us we have a buying opportunity. So we look for lows here. We have a low here, but we didn't close below. We have another low here. We have a low here, and we close below. So that's a buying opportunity. So where you thought there was a reversal, you could have potentially squeezed out another 25 points, and it was making new highs within the next week. So this is why a lot of times when you enter something to sell or to buy, and then it goes exactly the opposite direction in the next day or two, it's because you're out of sync with the PTSXT. You're buying in an extreme sell block and you're selling in an extreme buy block, okay? Here's an example in Costco, okay? Here is a very bearish candlestick pattern. Here's a bearish engulfing pattern. Even by its name, it's very bearish, right? This usually is referred to as a reversal pattern as well, telling you that the trend to the upside is about to become to an end and it's time to switch trends. Well, the PTSXT is not buying that. It's saying it's still in a yellow buy block. And in fact, this bearish engulfing pattern is actually a buying opportunity because we closed below the low of the previous bar that's in the yellow buy block. So where you thought that was the reversal, candlestick pattern reversal, we were buying, our students were taught to buy, and you could have captured 50 more points in just 2 days, okay? This is why a lot of traders fail. It's because your entries are faulty. Let's look at DLTR, another reversal, right? Okay, someone could look at this and say, Steve, we made a bottom. That chat room I go to, all the guys are buyers here. They say this is a major reversal. I've got to get in long. Well, the PTSXT says, nope, you're in a red sell block. And this is not something to be viewed as a buying opportunity. This is actually a selling opportunity. So we look for bars that close higher than the previous bar's high. And if we look at all these bars, we see that this happened right here. Here's a high, and we closed just above it. So this is a selling opportunity. Where you thought there was a reversal, you could have actually gone short or at least sold your position in DLTR 1 day ahead of the gap down and the 40-point drop, okay? Now, obviously, some news came out. As I say, nearly every week, some news came out that caused this to drop. Well, none of this is based on any, type of fundamental news. It's all based on market behavior. And it's been my experience, even though it's not 100% guaranteed, it's been my experience a majority of times when you have a signal or an entry or a setup based on market behavior, it will put you in the right direction prior to any type of news announcement or gap up or gap down. Okay, let's look at an entirely different market, an entirely different time frame. Here's a 4-hour chart of the euro yen, all right? Someone could say here, well, gosh, okay, we have a bullish engulfing pattern right here, but then we have an evening star pattern right here, which is basically negative, so I'm not sure which way to go. This is how the PTSXT can help. Once you apply it, it automatically tells you if you're in a buy, sell block, or nothing. If there's nothing happening at all, then the screen will remain the same color as it normally is. But in this case, the last 2 4-hour bars of the euro yen have been in a yellow buy block, telling you that this is a buying opportunity that is getting ready to go higher. All right, we see the low of this bar here, and we closed below it. So that's a buying opportunity. Even though it looks as if the currency pair is doing nothing, well, in the next day, you could have potentially captured 60 pips. Remember, this is an intraday trade. That's roughly about $600 in the next 3 bars. Now, that's an intraday trade. Let's say if we looked at the dollar yen on a daily time frame. Well, what do we have here? We have a morning star pattern. That's an extremely bullish candlestick pattern, telling you that most likely the market's going to head higher, right? Let's see how this fared in contrast to the PTSXT. Nope. The PTSXT says the opposite. It says, listen, I know candlesticks are good. I know a lot of people use them, but they do have some faults. They're not extremely consistent. The PTSXT is much more consistent, in my opinion, because it's based off market behavior, okay, not patterns in price bars. And so this is telling us that, well, we feel that the market's going lower. And what do we have here? We have that two-bar pattern. Here's the high of this daily bar, and we closed above it. So where everyone thought it's time to go long the dollar yen based on that candlestick pattern, we were telling our students to sell, and it fell 925 pips in the following month or so. Okay. Now, if you missed that, guess what? Look at all these other opportunities you could have had to go short or to exit your position. All right, so that's using this on currency pairs. What if we wanted to go out in different time frames for stocks? Well, here's a weekly chart of CRWD, CrowdStrike. All right, same process is applied. Nothing changes because we're looking at a different time frame. In this case, a weekly chart. These are weekly bars. So we look for the low of this weekly bar, and we look for the next bar to close below that low, which we did right here. 165 points coming into this month. Okay, this happened in September of last year. And once again, if you happen to miss that, not to worry, because there was another example here you could have bought and another one here. Okay, so if you're a swing trader or a longer term investor, you can use the same process. It makes absolutely no difference. Or how about a weekly chart of Charter, CHTR? Same process applies. We have 4 bars, 4 weeks in the extreme downtrend in the red cell block. Okay, so we're looking at the highs. Now, in this high, we closed above it. So that is a sell setup. Look what happened. In the next 2 weeks, the stock fell 98 points coming into this month. Okay, you think that could have helped you at least maybe bought some puts, or let's say you were long the stock, could have helped you exit before you lost 98 points potentially. We can go further out from weekly charts. Let's look at a monthly bar in NVIDIA, okay? That's been the talk of the town for this last month, how it's just skyrocketed. Well, it's funny, if we had looked at monthly charts of NVIDIA going all the way back to September, October of last year, we would have seen through the PTSXT that price bars were in a yellow block already, a yellow buy block already since April of 2023, almost a full year ago. And we saw that 2-bar pattern happen in October. Here was the low, and we closed below that low. Now, everyone's been making extreme fuss about how you could have gotten long the last couple of weeks or month. Well, our students using this could have gotten long maybe 6 months ago, because look at this. It took off, and in the next 4 or 5 months, you could have potentially captured 370 points. That's coming into this month, okay? So it makes no difference what market, it makes no difference what time frame. We're showing you this in all examples. All right, so let's go through the process here. Let's look at Meta here. This is coming into this month, February. Obviously, it's been going straight up. If you were trading this using conventional wisdom, the way we were all taught, the way I was taught, you would say, okay, we've got a nice uptrend going here, and I'm going to stay long this until it breaks that uptrend. And then right here, it breaks it. So you say to yourself, okay, we're no longer in an uptrend. I'm getting out. I'm selling my position. My entry to get out is done. I'm completed. I'm saying thank you. And that was a nice trade. Well, did you really have to exit? Was your entry or exit point really faulty? Because when we apply the PTSXT, click on highlighted signal, we see here that we're still in a yellow buy block. So the trend is still to the upside. It's an extreme uptrend. So we look at all the lows here. All the lows. Did we ever close below one of these lows? No, not until this point right here. See this low right there? This was at the end of last month, and we closed just below it the last day of January. So rather than saying we broke some short-term uptrend, maybe some guy in some chat room told you to exit, the PTSXT would have been telling you, no, this is a buying opportunity, all right? Not 100% guaranteed, but it's a high probability setup. You could have bought right there at the close of January and taken advantage of a 95-point gain in just 2 days. Once again, you notice how on the 2nd of February, it gapped up tremendously, right? Probably some news came out, something happened. Isn't it funny how this 2-bar pattern entry technique I just shared with you got you in a full 2 days in advance? Why? Because the PTSXT was telling you this is a buying opportunity. Don't go against market behavior. The market wants to go higher. So you're only going to lose when you're out of sync with the market. Let's look at another example here. Let's go through the process once again. This is what so many, especially new students of mine, say, Steve, I've always been taught to follow institutions and their support, and they're never wrong, right? Well, not in my opinion. Once again, as I say often enough, I used to trade with the institutions when I was a specialist on the floor of the stock exchange, and they had probably the worst track record of any group I ever traded with. So I would never recommend for anyone to do what the institutions are doing. Let's say the institutions are telling you this is major support here. This is where all the banks and all the big money is buying. And for the next day or so, it actually looks as if it's starting to go up, that this is good support. Well, I would tell my students, listen, you're always free to look at support and follow whatever you want. But if you want to be a consistent trader, what is the market telling you? We click on the PTSXT, click on highlighted signal, and it's not telling us there's any support there. It's telling us we're in a red sell block. What that means is that it's in an extreme downtrend. There's no reason to be buying here at all. So what we want to do is look at the highs and find a bar that closes above the previous bar's highs. And that's what we have right here. We have a high of the bar right here, and we closed above it on the very next bar. That is a sell setup. It's not a buy setup based off an institutional so-called support level. And look what happened. The stock dropped 155 points in the next month or two, okay? So how well would that support have helped you? Remember, it was my opinion that they had the worst track record of any group I ever traded with. So I would never base anything off of what an institutional support or resistance line is telling me. And as always, if you miss that, the market always gives you second chances. Once again, there was probably some news event that happened here that caused this to gap down severely. Isn't it funny how we knew well in advance that the market was telling us it was in an extreme downtrend? Okay, let's recap what we shared with you today. The trading process is this. Plot the PTS XT Extreme Trend Indicator on the PTS Primo charting platform. In a yellow buy block, you want to buy the bar whose close is less than the previous bar's low. And in a red sell block, you want to sell the bar whose close is greater than the previous bar's high. That's it. Now, the PTSXT is an indicator designed to identify extreme trends in advance. That's its only job. If the trend is just very basic and slow, or if the market is going sideways, it won't generate and display a color block because it's saying there's no extreme trend. It'll only display that color block around the bars when it deems through its analysis that an extreme trend is taking place. Now, it's based on multiple proprietary indicators and their relationship to one another, but they're all based off market behavior. Here's the best thing. Because of its results, it's official. The PTSXT is our simplest trading tool to apply, and that's why students love it. It's simple and extremely powerful. You just saw one example of how simple it is. So ask yourself, as we close here, do you think this indicator can help your trading for the remainder of 2024? I think most of you right now would say definitely yes. You've just seen examples in markets, different time frames, different directions. I think this could really help you. So we have a great attendee discount for all of you joining this webinar today. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to offer you our PTSXT Extreme Trend Tool. This is our immediately improve your entries with this indicator offer. Okay, remember, this generates these high probability zones. You can apply to any market, any time frame. You can actually trade this with your current strategy. So if your strategy generates a signal, well, you can wait to see if there's an extreme uptrend or extreme downtrend associated with it. Or you can build a strategy based off this. We have a number of students who like to tinker under the hood, so to say, and build a strategy based on the PTSXT, okay? It will really give you the confidence to pull the trigger. Now, everything you saw today was coming displayed from the PTSXT or I should say the PTS Primo charting platform, okay? We developed this to make it simple and to identify these extreme trends in advance. If you decide to become a student of mine today, well, guess what? New students are going to receive a full year free, a full 12 months free of the platform. That's a nearly $2,000 discount taken right off the price, okay? That's how great this offer is. And we're not even talking about the actual indicator yet. But on the platform, you'll not only be able to access with one click the PTSXT indicator, you'll get a host of other tools, methods, and techniques and strategies that I've accumulated in 47 years, most of them coming from my days on the trading floor that you won't find on any other platform. Things like our enhanced buy-sell line that tell you the overall trend. You can use that in conjunction with the PTSXT for a more conservative way to trade. A strength of trend tool that will give you an idea when a trend is running out of steam or still has a lot of energy left. All right, auto-generated exit levels to get you out when you're actually in a setup. Over 90 of the most prominent technical indicators, personalized tech support, and like I said, this is just the tip of the iceberg of what you will see. But here's one of the best things, the signal scanner, because you'll be able to scan for these setups on a nightly basis. Now let's imagine that I had given this webinar that you're attending today, let's say a couple of weeks ago, and you decided to take up this offer to become a student of mine in the PTSXT course, all right? Here's what you could have done this past week, because I'm going to share with you the next 3 examples of things that just happened within the last week you could have taken advantage of. And the reason why I'm doing this is to show you that these setups are being generated all the time. I know a lot of webinars you go to, you see these amazing setups and signals that generate great wins. And then you look at the date and they're maybe 6 months, maybe even a year old, okay? I know people do that because they try to cherry pick the best examples. I always like to show things that happened within the last month or so, because that will show you that it's happening over and over again. Now, this just happened mainly in the last 3 weeks, 3 examples. For example, here's a chart here we're looking at if you would have scanned in Amgen, all right? You would have scanned and seen that Amgen was in an extreme downtrend. All these bars have been in the red cell block for over a couple of weeks, okay? Now we're looking for that 2-bar pattern. If you wanted to trade this way, and there are literally dozens of ways to trade with a PTSXT, which we teach you in this course. But if you were going to apply the technique I shared with you today, all right, so let's go over the highs here. We're looking for a bar that closes above the previous bar's high. Oh, here we have a high, and we can see that we close on the next bar above. So on the 23rd, which happened to be last Friday, about 3 or 4 days ago, you could have gotten a sell signal on that Friday to sell Amgen. Okay, you could have sold on the close, maybe bought some puts or a spread strategy with a downward bias. Either way, you could have gotten short Amgen on an up day on Friday, so just about 4 days ago, and seen the stock fall 12 points in the next 2 days. Okay, not a bad little trade, but you could have taken advantage of that. How about an inexpensive stock? A lot of our students say, well, Steve, I like to trade, $5 and $10 stocks. I really don't want to trade these $200, $300 stocks. Okay, the same process can be applied. Nothing has to change because we're looking at a different type of price level. You could have, once again, scanned for these on the platform and seen on the 20th, which was just last Tuesday, just about a week ago, all right, that GOTU was in a yellow buy block. So it was in an extreme uptrend. Now, if you're going to use this technique, which I taught you today, you say, okay, well, I'll look for these lows here, see if anything closed below the previous low. And we have a couple of examples here. One happened here. This was on the 15th, where you could have bought, and then another one on the 20th. So you could have gotten long twice or had a couple of examples. Remember, this was just last week, and look what happened in the stock coming into yesterday. Okay, the price of GOTU jumped 66% in just 7 days. Now, this is an inexpensive stock. You could have picked up thousands and thousands of shares at that small price level. Just imagine if Apple or if Tesla jumped 66% in just 7 days, okay? So it's all relative. So you could have done very well with that. Now, let's say you don't mind trading expensive stocks. Here's a last example in Wing, okay? This is Wingstop. Once again, on the 21st, you could have, after the close or right towards the close, right about maybe a couple of minutes before the close, scanned and seen that this stock, WING, was in a extreme uptrend, and these bars were in the yellow buy block. All right, so you say to yourself, you know what? I kind of like this stock. I'm looking at it, and I find this 2-bar pattern here. Here's the low, and we close below it. So on the 21st, which was a week ago from today, which was just a week ago, last Wednesday, you could have purchased Wing, and look what happened. In the next 3 days, the stock jumped up 40 points. So you see, these things are happening all the time. It's not just something where I cherry pick the greatest examples 6 months ago or 2 years ago. This just happened last week. So don't worry as if you feel like I'm missing everything. Those were great examples. They're happening on and off again all the time. And the good news is we'll be there with you every step of the way. If you're having trouble, we always require all of our students to paper trade first because we want you to fully understand the process. But then after that, you can jump in lightly and take advantage of these really consistent setups. So you see, you can take your trading to the next level with the PTSXT Extreme Trend Indicator. And here's the best way to take it to the next level. Take charge of your trading and take advantage of this great offer. This is a deep discount that will only last for the next week. All right. Now, normally, when we offer the PTSXT Extreme Trend, it's costing close to $5,000. Don't worry. Don't log off yet. We're not going to charge you anywhere near that. Okay. What we're going to do is slash that price tremendously. And here's what we're doing. For a fraction of that price, for a one-time payment of $497, you can be up and running as early as today with the PTSXT, and you just establish a payment plan for $97 a month. That's it. So you don't have to pay the nearly $5,000. Now remember, that also comes with a discount of nearly $2,000 with the platform. So for just less than $500, you can be up and running with the PTSXT and just establish a $97 per month payment plan, okay? Now, we know we have a lot of traders that say, well, listen, I'm sold. I want to buy this right off. I don't want to have a payment plan. How much do I have to pay? Well, we'll still discount and drop it 10%. So you'll pay in full $44.95 and you'll save $500. But either way you want to go, if you want to pay in full, you get a discount. You get a deep discount if you establish a payment plan for $497 and $97 a month. But either way you decide to go, if you're a new student, you still receive a full year free of the platform. That's saving you nearly another $2,000, okay? This is a great way to get your trading back on track, a great way to start off 2024 and really become a student that is, for the first time, becoming consistent with your trading. Here's how to take advantage of this. Contact my sister site, Pro Trader Strategies. They're in charge of all the discounts and the pricing. They're also in charge of all the tech support with the platform. They can get you set up, or they can answer any question you have regarding pricing. I would highly recommend giving them a call at this number right now. There's absolutely no obligation. You can ask them any question or get a quote if you like. Call them directly at 310-598-6677. They have trading consultants operating the phones right now. If you're ready to jump on board and become a student of mine, they can take your order over the phone. Either way, if you want to buy in full or if you want to establish a payment plan, they can do that with you over the phone. Or if you have a question about the platform, maybe another strategy adding on to that, you want to get a discount, or more questions about the platform, they can answer. There's absolutely no obligation. So don't feel pressured into thinking, well, if I call, am I obligated to buy? No, they're there to help you and to work with you. And they're very flexible as well, okay? Now, that link you see at the very bottom is the link that you can copy and paste. It will take you to the info page as well as a sign-up page for PTSXT if you'd like to sign up online. It's not a live link, but they've posted a live link on the chat box. So if you open up that little icon there where it says chat, you'll see a live link has been posted there, okay? Now we are about the end of the presentation. I promised you I would answer any questions that you may have. So if you happen to have any questions, please feel free to ask. Now's the time. Let me see here. Yes, we have one question. Someone is asking, what if I have trouble knowing how to apply this? Don't worry. Let me just backtrack a little here. I often do this because this is one of our most asked questions. Let me just, if you don't mind, where it says here, educational correspondence. Every one of my students gets what we call educational correspondence. And what that means is you get my private email address. So this doesn't go to an assistant. It doesn't go to an intern. It doesn't go to a salesperson. It comes right to me. So if you have any questions concerning how to trade with the PTSXT, or if something doesn't make sense, or if you'd just like me to review your work, you can contact me whenever you would like, prior to the opening, after the close, on the weekends. It makes no difference, and I'll answer your questions as soon as possible. I often answer them sometimes within the next 15 or 20 minutes. So don't worry. There's always going to be someone there to educate you, and that someone is me, okay? You're a student of mine for life, and I'll answer any question that you may have, all right? Someone's asking, can you apply this to E-mini futures? Yes, you can. In fact, that's the market I apply it to. As I've often stated, I primarily trade the E-mini futures because it's the closest to the way I was trained when I was on the floor of the stock exchange. And I like to intraday trade, and I use this the same way. The same technique I shared with you, I use this the exact same way. So yes, you can use it on different time frames, different markets, different futures. It makes no difference. You can apply it to commodities. We have traders using this on crypto as well as currency pairs. Makes absolutely no difference. The PTSXT indicator doesn't discern what sector you're in. It doesn't take any fundamental information into accordance with its analysis. It's strictly looking at market behavior. So it doesn't know if that market is the British pound or if it's crude oil or if it's Dogecoin or if it's Apple. It has no idea. So it will generate its yellow buy blocks and red sell blocks around whatever the indicator says if it's coming up with an extreme trend. Okay, that's why it's such a great tool, because it's very simple. Now, what I shared with you today was just one of the ways in which to apply it. In our course, we have a number of different ways in which to apply it. We have an even simpler way, which I've taught in the past than this, but this is a great way to get back into a trade or to really fine-tune your entry, all right? So there's a number of ways to use it. It's probably our simplest tool for trading and one of our most popular tools as well, okay? Any more questions while you have me here? Okay, well, I guess you're all sold. I guess I'm going to see you all as students of mine in the course. If not, remember, if you have any questions, please don't worry. If the presentation ends, you can always contact Pro Trader Strategies. There's absolutely no obligation. Give them a call at area code 310-598-6677. They will be happy to answer any question. Or if you're convinced you want to take your order or give them an order over the phone, they'll do that as well. Now, the only thing I will mention is that this is for a limited time only. So if you're thinking about this, which a number of students we've heard in the past do, what they'll do is they'll say, oh, well, it sounded good, but I'm going to continue to trade this guy I feel is pretty good in the chat room. And then they trade for the next month and lose a lot of money. And they say to themselves, you know what, I'm going to go back and try that PTSXT offer. And the offer's gone. You know, this offer is probably only good for the next week. So if you're interested at all, please don't hesitate. You know, think about it. I'm not saying you have to make a decision today, but think about it. Watch the video again. You're all going to get this video and then make a sound decision based off that, okay? Because most likely this will be back up with the full year of the platform, back up to close to $7,000. And you can be getting it for less than $500 for a one-time payment of $500, $497, and then a payment plan of only $97 a month, okay? This is a great, great offer. We don't want to charge you a lot because we'd really like to see you become a consistent trader, okay? Okay, if there are no more questions, as we close here, I just want to say, remember, if you'd like more information, please follow us on Twitter. There's our handle right there, at SPCLSTTRADG. Or like us on Facebook. We've been presenting these webinars live on Facebook. If you like them, give us a click on there and give us a thumbs up. We'll do a lot more, and we're giving our information across to a lot more people. And you can see us on Facebook and on YouTube as well, okay? Okay, as we take one last look at our disclaimer, thank you so much for attending, and I really wish you the best of luck. I look forward to all of you becoming students of mine in the PTSXT course. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and I wish you all the best of luck. Bye-bye.